Things I've learned as an autism parent. How to keep quiet when the boy is making noise, so I don't bother him. How to dress my kiddo so he doesn't look autistic. Apparently I excel at this. How to say thank you to my child for using correct words, as he tells me how I've ruined his life after a haircut. That everyone except me knows a cure for autism. And finally, how to truly thank God for the blessing my child has been. What's up, Circle? I'm doing something a little bit different today. I'm doing this video for a video series that Kate at Finding Cooper's Voice is doing. Now, if you're not familiar with Finding Cooper's Voice, I highly recommend you check it out. She'll make you laugh, she'll make you cry, but most importantly, she keeps it real as she takes you on a journey into the secret world of nonverbal autism. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Paul from AutismSomeAssemblyRequired.com. I make videos and write articles answering people's questions about autism by focusing on the behaviors associated with the diagnosis. Keeping it real, keeping it fun, and showing that those with autism are real people who deserve all the opportunities in life that everyone else is entitled to. Today I want to talk about what I wish I knew about autism before I knew about autism. They say hindsight is 20/20, so you think I'd be perfect by now. But nope, I'm not. Just ask my boy, he'll tell you.
He makes a lot of mistakes.
Despite that, I have learned a lot of things over the years that can be helpful to anyone involved with autism. Now, I have some specific practical advice I want to give you at the end, but to start, let's talk about the fact that people who aren't directly involved with autism on a daily basis don't understand autism. You'll hear something like, "My nephew has autism. I get it." No, you don't get it. Believe me, I used to think I got it before I became a step-parent to an autistic child, but I didn't get it. Unfortunately, this oftentimes includes doctors and schools. Now, I'm not going to jump all over doctors and teachers here because I think they do a tremendous job with our kiddos. And I want to point out, even though we as parents may disagree with them sometimes, they are educated and trained professionals who are at least talking from a position of knowledge, if not experience. But it never ceases to amaze me when I get a call from the school regarding the boy. Usually it's not because he's done something specifically wrong, it's because they don't understand autism. A student takes a piece of paper from my son's desk. He gets mad and calls the kid a stupid idiot, and they both get sent to the principal's office. Now, if I get a call because he called another student a name, I completely understand. But no, I get a call because when the principal asked him why he called the other student a name, he replied with, "Because my mom told me to never lie." So now he's in trouble for being insolent. Come on, man, that's autism right there. You've got literal understanding and fact consideration based on his literal understanding, which comes from a point of view narrowed by egocentrism. These are all behaviors associated with autism. Now, you won't find them worded exactly that way in the section of the DSM-5 describing autism, but we'll get to that later. My point is, this fits his diagnosis exactly, and rather than take the opportunity to teach him to use better words, you want to punish him for it. Which brings me to the next thing I wish I would have understood earlier. You shouldn't punish autism. And this could be hard, and I get it. Look here. John's in the middle of an epic meltdown going off about anything and everything. Tell my wife Bella exactly how she's ruined his life. Ugh! Sometimes I just want to grab him and say, "Come here, boy. Let me introduce you to the business end of a 2x4. Now, I can even picture poor Bella being to the point where she's like, "Remember forensic files. Don't leave any evidence." We've all been there, right? No? That's just me? Anyways, you shouldn't punish autism. If John has a tantrum in public, discipline might be warranted. If John is having a meltdown in public due to sensory overload, that's autism. My job at that point is to help him, not to punish. Punishment won't happen later either, no matter how bad the meltdown might get, though there will be some time spent afterwards talking to him and listening, finding out what happened so I can better help him and teaching him how he could have handled things better so we can prevent this in the future. I know meltdowns are an obvious and easy example, but I think you get what I mean. So many autism parents that I speak with say that one of their biggest regrets is punishing their kiddos for things that they couldn't control. And that's hard to deal with, and I get it. There's another regret that I hear about even more often, though, and its effects are far-reaching. The number one regret I hear most often from autism parents is that they didn't accept autism sooner. And here's why this is such a big deal. First, no matter how soon parents start early intervention, most parents wish they would have started earlier. We play the blame game with ourselves. I should have done something sooner. What if I'd have done this? Or what if I'd have done that? Most of us have been there before, including Bella and I, so we're with you. We can't blame ourselves, though. We make decisions based on our frames of reference, and unless you've had a child with autism before, you just don't know. No one purposely sets out to make their child suffer. We do what we think is best, and only hindsight tells us where we got it right and where we could have done better. None of us are the all-knowing Wizard of Oz. This also leads to the next thing many autism parents wish they would have done sooner, which is to realize you can't fix autism. You can gain experience and knowledge to understand it better. You can also guide your child to better behaviors and deeper insight into how society operates, but you can't fix autism.
I gotta be me.
In fact, that's why I named my site Autism Some Assembly Required. Too often we see society trying to fix something that isn't broken when it comes to autism. They correct rather than teach. They judge what they can't see. They expect an autistic person to understand neurotypical thinking without trying to wrap their neurotypical heads around an autistic mind. Anyways, I'm going off on a rant tangent. Check out my site to learn more. Another thing that many autism parents say as a result of not accepting it sooner is that they didn't start talking to other autism parents sooner. They relied only on the doctor. Now again, I'm not saying that doctors are wrong or give bad advice. Though I should know. I'm married to one. But nothing can beat the advice of someone who is living it day in and day out. Not only that, but by talking to other autism parents, you'll realize you're not alone. That the things you go through on a daily basis are actually pretty normal in an autism family. Plus, you can get all the insider secrets, like which dentist to use and where to go for haircuts. The last reason I want to point out about why many autism parents regret not accepting autism sooner is a reason that isn't brought up often. In fact, it's usually brought to people's attention before they even realize it's true. And that's the fact that many autism parents don't take the time to grieve.
What are you talking about?
That's right, grieve. And all the steps that go along with it. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Now you may be asking yourself, aren't you supposed to grieve when you've suffered a loss? I haven't suffered a loss. I say, yes, you have. You suffered the loss of the dreams for your child. Later, you may even go through it a second time as you recognize the loss of normality for your family, for your freedom of adulthood as parents, and the possible loss of some friends and potentially family who may not accept your child's diagnosis or the behaviors associated with autism. This is normal and it's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It's something every autism parent should take the time to do. And with that, I think I'm out of time. I did promise you some specific, practical advice though, so let me touch on some things that I advise all autism parents to do as soon as they receive a diagnosis. The first is to apply for Medicaid. It doesn't matter if you already have other insurance coverage. Apply for this right away. In most states, if a person is diagnosed with a disability before age 22, they will be automatically qualified. This will give you and your child additional resources and services, especially as they become adults. The next thing is to apply early for a Medicaid waiver. Medicaid waivers can provide even more resources to your child as they become adults. The wait period to become eligible, though, can take several years depending on the state you live in, so make sure you apply early. And the last thing I always recommend for autism parents is to join an autism support group. Heck, join two. Join an online support group so you have thousands of people to get advice from. People who will show you that you're not alone and that you can vent to. Become involved with a local group as well. Network with local people who can physically be there to help if you need it, and who can offer advice, like where to find a babysitter who understands autism. Well, folks, there's so much more I'd love to go into, but I have to stop here or I'll never get this video finished. If you like what you've heard so far, I have 2 articles on my site I'd recommend on the subject. The first is titled, My Child Was Diagnosed with Autism. Now what? And the second, Why is my autistic child disrespectful? Where I go into a lot of the behaviors associated with autism you just won't find in the DSM-5. For now, always remember to live in faith and not in fear. I'm Paul from AutismAssemblyRequired.com, and I approve this message.